Hello, my name is Valentina Silva. I am studying for a Bachelor of Secondary Education, majoring in English and Drama. I belong to the 2 to 4 p.m. tutorials on Thursdays at our Stratford campus. My schooling began in Blanes, Spain, where I attended preschool from ages 3 to 5. My schooling in Spain was bilingual, therefore lessons were taught both in Spanish and Catalan. Once moving to Australia in 2010, I commenced my studies in the enrichment class at Fairfield Heights Public School, where I ultimately graduated in 2016. My secondary education was completed at Fairvale High School, where I was also a part of the Gifted and Talented program. That's me right there. After graduating high school in 2022, I completed a year of studies at the University of Sydney, studying for a Bachelor of Arts majoring in sociology, which I did not enjoy. All this finally led me to my current degree at ACU. Ever since I can remember, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Leadership roles were always ones I was attracted to, and this was evident through my commitment to my school's Student Representative Council and subsequent election for school captain in high school. Through my lifetime of being a role model for my peers, I found genuine love for helping people achieve that aha moment. I've always prided myself on being someone people can come to for guidance and advice, and I believe these are all traits that coincide really well with being a teacher. In regards to my major, English and drama have always been interests of mine, and also something I consider myself to be naturally quite good at. Therefore, choosing them as my major was very simple. Although my decision to become an educator was clear from my early years, my Year 10 English teacher, Mr. Chun, was the one to solidify my passion. Every class I had with him inspired me to work hard so that I too could impact students the way he impacted us. Mr. Chun believed solely in positive reinforcement. He always found something encouraging to say, spoke with such capacious vernacular, and introduced us to topics and perspectives that were unlike anything we were learning from our other subjects. In his classes, he indisputably redefined what it meant to be a student, and I believe it all boiled down to one rather simple idea. He treated us like people. Our class of 20 or so 15-year-olds were finally being addressed with the respect normally only allocated to fellow staff members. It was his innate acknowledgement of our autonomy as human beings that enabled us to hold him in such high regard. For once, we were not perceived as uneducated beings with nothing of valor to say. Instead, every thought was accepted and expanded upon. This baseline respect our class shared with him not only affected our motivation to learn from him, but it bled into all other facets of our learning. Suddenly, students who would often cause a disturbance in other classes behaved and were attentive when he spoke, not because he ruled with threats of detention or a phone call home, but because he was just a nice person who made everyone feel heard and understood. This was incredibly fascinating to me, as such a simple concept was so overlooked by my past teachers. This realization was what solidified him as my inspiration to pursue becoming an educator. Dr. Craig Campbell's ideas of progressive pedagogies and greater student centered learning accurately represent Mr. Chun's teaching style. Mr. Chun challenged the traditional norms about the role of teachers and the sheer nature of learning itself. As Dr. Craig Campbell mentioned, teachers became people who were able to captivate and engage the natural curiosity of a student, and I believe this is something Mr. Chun perfected. When studying The Catcher in the Rye, Mr. Chun captivated our natural curiosity by providing us with a lesson where we analyzed the book through different lenses. Most notably, however, we analyzed it through a queer lens. He presented the concept to us like a puzzle. It was up to us to discover the hidden details, dissect every metaphor, and completely reimagine Holden and Stradlatter's friendship. Moving on to my emerging teacher philosophy. While contemplating my answers for this assignment, I discovered my teaching philosophy is almost identical to my life's philosophy. Just be a good person. I believe life is about community, and although I may never be able to affect all 9 billion people on this earth, being a good person to those in my community is more than enough for me. My international upbringing, transitioning from the bilingual education system of Spain to Australia, has instilled in me a profound appreciation for diverse perspectives and teaching methods. It has uniquely positioned me to incorporate a global viewpoint in my teaching. Much like Mr. Chun and much like Nell Nodding's teachings in Happiness and Education, I just want to be a pillar for support for my students. As Nodding puts it, Much of what we do for others strengthens the relations of which we are part, and thus ourselves. I am motivated by guiding students to become genuinely good people, and it is fundamentally our good deeds for others in our community and the greater planet that constructs an innate goodness. To sum it up with another quote from Nell Noddings, we are, of course, individual physical organisms, but ourselves are constructed through encounters with other bodies, objects, selves, conditions, ideas, and reflective moments with our own previous selves.